Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mid.Life.Artist Podcast. We've got something a little different for you guys this week. Our guest is Sarah Scozzaro, who is an endurance, running, and strength coach. So why is she on the Mid.Life.Artist Podcast? She is also a woman in her midlife and is navigating movement and exercise and a changing body. And she just gives a ton of really great advice for us as people in our midlife on navigating movement and relationship with our bodies. And also, she's just a hoot and a half. So I think you are going to have a great time listening to this podcast. Please help me welcome Sarah Scozzaro. Sarah, that was very unfair of you. Sarah started with the silly hand motions introing us. So I'm automatically laughing. Welcome to the Mid.Life.Artist Podcast. I'm your host, Brandy. This is Sarah Scozzaro. Am I saying that correctly?
Scozzaro, close enough.
Scozzaro. Yeah. Sarah, tell everybody right off the top where they can find you on what website, Instagram, whatever you want to share.
The socials, Sarah.Scozzaro, Scozzaro is my.
And we will link it too, so nobody has to try to remember.
Yeah, don't. I should have kept my maiden name. It was Brooks. It was so much easier. And then my website is Farther Stronger, but Instagram is where you're going to find my presence. I'm on Threads with the same, but I'm not as active there, but I plan on being way more unhinged. So there's that.
I can't wait. Because we're actually going in a little bit of a different direction today. We're not talking to Sarah about art, even though I would say that if you go and read her Instagram captions, a lot of them are absolute poetry. So Sarah is an ultrarunner and a running and strength coach. Mm-hmm. She's somebody that I have known online and have also used her coaching services off and on for years. And she's somebody that I really respect, appreciate for her how she approaches coaching and relationships. And one of the things I wanted to talk about is I do think I want to talk about your background and how you got into things. And one of the other things I've asked Sarah to do is talk to those of us in midlife, as she is also in midlife, about movement for the midlife body. Mm-hmm. So we're going to spend, most of it talking about kind of her story. And then we will dive into kind of how she can help guide us if you are a person in your midlife who would like to move your body and all the things that we get to deal with when we're in the midlife, the hot flashes and the migraines and the itchy ears, which I didn't know was a thing.
I didn't either. And honestly, I have not personally experienced that yet. But whenever you follow those threads of all the fun things to look forward to in perimenopause and menopause, and the itchy ears comes up a lot. And I'm like, oh no, new fear unlocked. Yeah, I don't want that one.
I will say this. I have experienced it.
Oh.
Knock on wood, it's not a constant thing. It's not like all of a sudden your ears are itchy all the time. At least that's not my experience. But yes, all of a sudden the inside of your ear just itches.
Yeah.
It's just like
all of my girlfriends
on being this age.
Right? My girlfriends and I are constantly like, WTF? What is going on? So
I was super I didn't realize that that you could have hormonal migraines, and it makes sense of why I had them all through high school and then early college, and then they sort of went away, and I didn't realize they would come back. I thought I'd kind of left. So that more than anything, I think has been the biggest bummer for me. I've got a fly in the house.
I'm sure I'm going to have a cat join us at any moment.
I love it. You are not the only. I have so many podcasts for people moving a cat out of the way.
No, the body. It's amazing what happens when we're in this lovely era of our lives.
Yes, but we're going to go way back. And I want you, how did you get started running? I mean, from the, how you actually.
My origin story? My running origin story.
I want to hear it. I don't know as much time as we spent together as coach and Coach E. I don't know that
Yeah.
I know this, so I would love to hear
Okay.
how this started.
Happy to share. Shocking to no one, I was the most active in utero child ever, apparently, my mother. So already while she was pregnant with me, I could not stop kicking and moving and I kept her up constantly. I've always been like in motion. When I was about 5, and I also started walking very, very young. Like
Okay.
my mom was just like, put bumpers all over me because I would just fall over and hit my head on things because I was
Yes.
so determined to pull myself up and move. And so I think they just needed to wrap me in bubble wrap. When I was about 5, my dad wanted to start getting fit because he would have been 35. My dad is 30 years, it was 30 when I was born. So he was kind of in that midlife, wanted to get fit. And so he started riding his bike and wanted to start running. And I was 5, and we would run to the donut store, this
Oh,
Winchell's
that's
Donuts in
a great place to
Southern
look.
California, right? He's like, I'm going to get fit, but also donuts. And if I remember correctly, it was he started to run and I went with him. And then he realized running really wasn't his thing. And I was good at it in the sense that I liked it. So he started riding his bike and I ran next to him. So it became more bike riding for him, running for me. And then it became, oh, I don't like any of this. And then they started putting me in 5Ks. So like 5 and 6 years old, I was doing like local 5Ks.
At that, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you can actually have. I didn't even know you could sign somebody up that young.
This was also the early 80s.
Oh, that's true. So nobody cared about your.
We
Yeah,
played on metal merry-go-rounds and
100%.
metal
You're
slides
right.
and
I don't even know what I was thinking.
I
You're
mean, back
absolutely right.
they didn't. I mean, like reflecting back with athletes I have now, and I'm like, is your kid even allowed to do that? Because I know I was, and I'm like,
Right.
oh, but also it was like 83,
Right.
84, because I'm a 78 baby, vintage classic, and so I did quite a bit of them, and I loved it, and it was fun.
You've
Anyways,
literally been running your whole life then.
yeah.
Practically.
Yeah, but sadly, in junior high, I tried out for the cross country team, and I had a coach experience where it was basically like, okay, let me backtrack for a second. When I was 10, my family care practitioner, while I was in the room with my mom, told my mom that I was chunky for my age and height, and I needed to start paying attention to my weight when I was 10. And then I had a cross country coach in junior high that told me that my legs were too big. And I did not want to run anymore because I did not like how I felt because people seeing
I
me.
am so I'm so
Are we hot flashing together? Like,
I
um,
I'm so angry for
but it's
you.
sadly it's thank you, but sadly it's like a story that I hear with a lot of my athletes. Like they loved this thing that was theirs and they enjoyed it because it didn't matter what their body looked like. When you're a child, you don't care what your body looks like. You just do these things that you love.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, someone else decides that your body doesn't look right for X, Y, or Z. Like you don't look the type. You don't look like your legs are too big or you're too big or you don't fit into this space. And I got really, really self-conscious. And so throughout high school, you're going to laugh because anybody that knows me now it laughs when they hear this. I hated PE so much and did not want to shower in front of the other girls that I had really bad shin splints. I got my doctor to write me a letter for so that I could do special PT where we did bowling and archery.
Right
So I
there.
didn't have to run and I didn't have to do team sports and I got to do
And you also don't have to probably be in shorts for those things. Like you can wear something to if
We were in the bowling alley at 11 o'clock in the morning with only my town's finest buying nachos and bowling. I mean, and that was
and also for people who are not our age, smoking was allowed.
Oh!
So like the secondhand smoke at 11.
This was 1994, 1995. I mean, this was great. Alice in Chains blasting on the speakers, your local hometown hero smoking in the corner of the local bowling alley.
That's
That was PE.
I mean,
So-
are you a good bowler?
No, I was okay back then. I was actually pretty decent at archery, believe it or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that carried me through high school. And it's funny because I have a good girlfriend that I've been friends with. We were friends since we were 14 and she did that class with me. That's actually how we really connected. Her and myself and my brother were in that class because my brother had really bad asthma. And to this day, we just laugh because she became this really, for a big period of her life, was a really big yoga instructor. And I am an ultrarunner, and we're both like, we met in the PE class for
In
people
like
that
the
didn't want to
smoky bowling
PE.
alley, because we were trying to get out of regular PE.
Yeah, we were trying to get out of doing it, which I just think is so funny. But mine was more tied up into like self-esteem and self-confidence. And I didn't have a lot of it growing up at all. And I allowed it to, but I think as most teenage girls do or did, because I hope that girls are becoming more empowered, but I allowed that to be taken from me. I didn't advocate for myself, going, you know what?
You also, like, I also think, number one, we did not have the language around mental health, women's
No.
empowerment that we have today.
No.
And number two, even if we did, like, I really wonder if a 14-year-old today also has enough self-awareness to kind of like understand and rationalize and separate and say, that's on them, that's not
Yeah.
on me, that's their, like, I don't even know, like, even if you have that language, I don't know if you can fully utilize it at 14.
No. And you know, it's like it's such a hard time anyways to be a teenager.
Horrendous.
And
Horrendous.
it's like I was a late developer. All my girlfriends had boys interested in them. I didn't. I was the buddy, which was, now looking back, I'm like, I was in like the sweetest spot. Like, who doesn't want to be one of the guys, like girls guys, it's like, I loved it. But at the time you're like, but everybody else is doing these things and I'm not. And then the one thing that I loved, I'm told
Yeah.
I'm too big for, or I don't look the part, or I'm not
And
good.
it
I'm
got,
not good
listen,
enough.
like, it got taken away from you.
Yeah. Or I
Somebody
wasn't good
took
enough.
it away from you.
I wasn't good enough to make the team, so therefore, like, you shouldn't do this thing because somebody deemed that you weren't good at it, which I just think is bull crap. Like, do the thing. So, which we'll get into this later more with me, because I'm not necessarily good at what I do. I just love what I like, the actual sport of running. I'm a better coach than I am an athlete, for sure. So then, sadly, shocking to nobody, that got paired with some fabulous body dysmorphic issues, which then led to some wonderful eating issues. Oh, trigger warning. Not taking care of myself and not having a healthy relationship with food. So long story short, though, in 18, 19, I graduated high school. I decided I wanted to run a marathon. But the impetus for doing that originally was, I will lose so much weight when I run a marathon. I am going to get so skinny when I train for a marathon. But then, thankfully, I did it with a goal of, I worked with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and I partnered with them. So I raised funds. I had a buddy, like a girl in a local community that I raised money for, and we did fundraisers for. And I met people to this day I'm still friends with that are in their 60s now. And they were like mentors to me, because at the time they were in their 30s and I was in my early 20s, late teens, early 20s. And they really helped shift my relationship with movement. Yeah. And my relationship with movement and activity and self-worth. And so anyways, I did eventually like go, oh, I can run and it doesn't matter what my body looks like. That's cool. Because this is my body.
Because they looked like normal people.
Yeah, and I thought they were
people. They had jobs and they
were
legs
successful,
that weren't skinny, and
they had families and jobs, and they were successful, and they were happy, and they were out of the awful late teens, middle 20s range when life is just hard and you don't know who you are, and you're clinging, and I'm just lucky I kind of got into the right track with like good people that. Had their shit together. Right. I didn't have to bumble through my 20s like with other 20-year-olds going like, who's blind leading the blind, right? And so then that helped reignite my love of running just in time for me to get injured.
So this is when, is this the big
This is
injury?
the big one. The big
Okay.
injury. Yeah.
Okay, so you're training for this marathon, or
So I did the marathon.
Okay.
Awesome. Rainbows, puppy dogs. It was amazing. Started dating my now husband, which was great. It was lovely. College was going great, and went on a silly little training run because, of course, I was marathon running, and anybody who runs a marathon at some point's like, I want to do Boston. I want to qualify for Boston, because that's kind of like a thing you think you need to do, which I'm going to dispel. You do not need to do that. Like, you don't have to be a good runner to do that. But in my mind, it was like, well, if I'm going to take this seriously, I'm going to do Boston. I was just out on a silly training run, stepped on a piece of concrete that collapsed under my foot, hyperextended my knee, popped it out of socket, foot came towards my face, crushed my joint. Yeah, it was great. Flipped into some sprinklers.
Every once in a while, she shows pictures of the X-rays.
Had big old screws. I had two.
Yes, like
they're inch and a half.
They're
an inch.
this. They're.
It was this big. They're an inch and a half long, and they went literally from one side of my tibia to the other. And I had 2 of them. And I flipped over into someone's sprinklers at a stoplight. And so everybody's watching me scream in agony as the sprinklers are going on. In hindsight, it was actually kind of funny. I can laugh. I can laugh at it now.
You're not. You could. No. No.
But so not to like continue to drag this out, but basically I had to have reconstructive surgery of my knee. I was on bedpan, bed rest in my parents' living room for 3 months because they thought I was going to lose the joint completely and need a knee replacement. I had such a bad bruise of my femur. I was told they came out of surgery and my surgeon said she will never run again. And if she does, she will walk with a limp. And they didn't tell me that though, because I knew my mental health wasn't going to handle it. So I like laid in my hospital bed and I was like, so when do I get to start running again? And then they waited for the surgeon. They took some of my sutures out and he's like, oh, you're not going to. You're done. And that was 2002, May 29th, 2002. And I didn't run for 8 years. I got really involved in strength training. I was already, so kind of like we're going to segue that. I was already like doing strength as a runner, but kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing. I belonged to a gym and I just watched other people and read Muscle and Fitness for Her. And
I remember. Yes. Oh my God.
Shape magazine, Self magazine. I read all those and would pick out like the best legs for summer workout. Nothing to do with performance, right? I was just like, gotta shape these calves. And yeah, but I really, really loved it. And I didn't feel like myself without movement. And this is something for me, like, it's funny because we're on a podcast where you usually feature artists and people that are artistic. And I'm not. I love to take photos. I love to write. I have always been a writer, like something I love to do. I'm not a writer in the sense of like I've ever been known for my writing. Okay, I did win a contest when I was in 6th grade, but otherwise I just love to write. That's how I express my creativity. Additionally to that,
writing isn't considered an art form. I'm just like, you're doing the things that you tell people, like, I'm not really a runner. This is what you're doing right now with art. No, but that's what I'm saying. But like, thank you. Yes, true. But for me, movement is how I feel my most artistic, my most creative.
Mm-hmm. But I'm not capturing anything that anybody can see or hold on to or put on their wall. But to me, it's my best thinking is when I'm moving. My best ideas come when I'm moving.
You're most connected.
My most connected to myself, to nature.
Which is what art.
Yep, I'm in complete flow state. And so for me, like, you take that away, the ability to move and especially move outdoors, which was what running was to me. That was losing a big part of myself.
100%.
So I did cycle, I did walk, it was great. But strength training was the next thing that allowed me to feel empowered and creative. Because I could go in there and I could be like, I've got these things that I can do, this medium. What do I want to do with them? What do I want to create with it? And that's what's like strength programming to me is like, there's like an artistic essence to it. And I love it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
I love it.
So did you get so how old are we still in college?
We are now married. We are graduating. I injured in 2002, graduated in 2003 with my bachelor's, moved overseas.
Husband's in the military.
Husband's in the military. I'm living in England at this point. Then I'm living in Germany. And at the tail end, I started personal training. I started working at a British gym, actually. I was teaching spin classes first. And then they liked me and they're like, we'll pay for your certification to become a personal trainer. And that was in Cambridge, which was super fun to work with a British gym. Didn't hurt that the gentlemen were not difficult to look at.
And the accent is just,
oh God, so posh. So posh. And I'm the wackadoodle American teaching spin classes, right? And and then I was a personal trainer in Germany and I just loved it and got my master's in exercise science. And tail end of Germany, I missed running so much, not because I feel like I needed to prove anything or be anything to anybody else, but I just missed that ability to create and think and process and noodle over life. And so I went back to my original surgeon and paid for out of pocket for some scans to be done. And he's like, when was this again? And this looks really good. He's like, I'm not going to tell you should run, but if you do, keep it to like 2 to 3 days a week, 20 to 30 minutes. I did a marathon a year later. So that was great. So that kind of accelerated. But I mean, because I was just, my whole thing though was like, everything since then with my running, everything has been curiosity. What's next? What can I do? Oh, I can do 2 miles. Cool. Body feels cool. Maybe I could do 3. Body feels great. Maybe I could do a little bit more. Body doesn't feel great. Back it off. Like there's never been this I'm going to do this and I'm going to force it to happen. It's been this constant, I'm just a backseat driver. I'm just the joystick of my body, but my body's going to tell me how I'm feeling. And I'm going to adjust from there. I'm not going to ram my body through something that it shouldn't or can't do. So that resulted. So that was 2010, end of 2010, beginning of 2011, because I ran the marathon in 2012. And I've since done like a bunch of hundreds. I know, I'm sorry, I'm losing everybody. They're like, we just want to talk about painting.
So let's back up. An ultramarathon, I feel like ultramarathon has gotten a lot more in the lexicon, but just in case, ultramarathon is any running distance longer than a marathon. They tend to start at 50K, which is 31.5 miles. It used to be that the penultimate was like a 100-miler. There's still a bunch of legacy 100-milers that are very well thought of, but now people even do multi-day, like 250, 400,
300.
That span several days a week, whatever. You usually, for a 100-miler, you usually have 24 to like, what would you say, 36 hours?
Most hundreds is like a 30-hour cutoff, with outliers being like 40 to 48, depending on the difficulty. But yeah.
And then a lot of them are in the mountains, mountainous regions, Colorado, Pacific Northwest. And then for the longer distance, it's usually a multi-day. So like you might have
like 110 hours. Yeah. You've got 4 or 5 days to get this done.
So it really was, okay, I completed a marathon. So what's next?
Kinda. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, kinda yes and no. So I'm originally from, most of my formative years were spent in Northern California in a town called Folsom, which is near Auburn, which is where Western States finishes.
Okay. So Western States is one of those legacy 100-milers that we were just talking about. So
and it's kind of my identity.
You might have been more aware, because I would say 2010, ultra running's still niche.
Totally.
When did Born to Run come out? Because that's when people started early 2000 teens.
Yeah, it might have been around the same time, 2010, 2011,
so you
2012.
You would have known what a 100-miler is even before.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I had friends doing it way before
before anybody even knew what a 100-miler.
Oh, yeah, because Western States has been going on 1973, 1974, because it was originally the Tevis Cup, which is a horse riding race. Yeah. And so, that had been around. And so I had known friends that had done this. I had started trail running out on those trails.
Okay.
So even though I was focusing
Western States trails?
Yeah.
That's where you've done
cool. Like that, the lower part, like the last 10, 15 miles is where I really started trail running.
So you didn't even you went from a marathon to you already knew what a 100-miler was. So were you like, okay, marathon, then 50K, then 50-miler, or okay, I'm just going to try for a 100-miler?
Oh, no, I progressed. It was marathon, 50K, 50-mile. And I remember when I did a marathon, I explicitly remember I said, there's no way I could do 50. There's no way I could do a 50. I can't double this, roughly double this. There's no way. I can't do that. And then you do it. And then you're like, okay. It's a very slippery slope, because if you could do a marathon, I know people may not believe this, but in the mind, it's like you think a half. If you could do a half, you could do a marathon. And then if you could do a marathon, you could do a 50K, because that's only 5 to 6 miles more. Right. And then if you could do a 50K, you're only 18, 19 miles away from a 50.
And once you've trained for a 50K and done 31.5 miles, another 18, 19 miles, you're like, I know what that feels like.
I can do that. And then 100K is only, again, I'm air quoting here because it's not only, but in your brain, you're like, it's only 12 miles more.
Right.
And then 100K to 100, that's only 38 miles. Those 38 miles are very, 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 very different. Let me tell you, it does not double. The ease of a 50 is not how the next 50 in your 100 is going to go. I get a lot of people, especially when people think they do like a 10-hour 50, they think they can do a 20-hour 100. And I'm here to tell them that's not how it works in most cases. So no, I was very much
okay. Let's see what the next step is.
Yeah. And let's see how my body responds. I didn't want to put any pressure on myself at all. It was like,
you do the marathon, what year again? 2010?
2012.
2012. When do you do your first 100? And what 100?
2014.
Okay. And which 100 was it?
Rio del Lago in Folsom. That runs up to Auburn. Yeah. Because my parents still lived there at the time in this California area. And I just thought,
you could crash.
Hometown trails. I could stay with my parents. Yeah. It was like natural.
How was the race?
It was great. Sunshine, rainbow, sound of music. Never had a low moment. It was amazing.
Have you been able to repeat that since, or was that
No, God, no. The second one was like, this is what it's really like. I was lucky, but I also was coming from a place of the whole time it was like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I can do this. I can't believe I can do this. I never thought I could do this. Because I was told I wouldn't be able to do this. So the fact that I was doing it, the whole thing was just joyful, happy, wonderful, amazing, awe. The second time, the same race a year later, they changed the course slightly though, wasn't as good. I had put expectations on myself.
Yeah.
Oh, I did it before. I want to go faster. I want to do it better. And it ruined it for me. I didn't do that anymore after that. Then I just started running them for fun. It's okay to have a time goal. I coach a lot of athletes with time goals. That's perfectly fine. But for me, with like my body and everything, I just knew why I was out there and what I wanted out of it. And for me, it wasn't about getting a specific time. It was having an experience. I was going after certain experiences versus a specific time. Now, obviously, I had to make cutoffs. So you have to be moving at a certain, but yeah. So, but I mean, in the whole process of this, though, like I did eventually qualify and run Boston in 2015.
Okay.
I qualified in 2013. I did Boston in 2015. Like I did knock off lots of other life goals that I wanted to do. So all with just curiosity.
I love it.
Let's see what
Just
happens next.
see what the next step is.
Mhm.
See what the next, like, just, okay, what's around this corner? What's
Yeah.
around this corner? What's around
Yeah.
this
And then
no, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and that's kind of like as I've gotten older, which we can segue into this as well. And like I recently had another knee injury unrelated to possibly unrelated, kind of hard. It's the other knee. It's been that same approach the whole time though of like, well, let's just see what I'm able to do now with as my body and my age, like biologically, also my old knee injury now. It's been 23 years, this new injury, just being very patient and just having more curiosity with what I can do with my body without feeling bad about what it can't do.
Well, and not to get too airy fairy woo woo.
Go.
But I mean, that's,
We woo.
That's what I do. Is like it's a Buddhist precept of like, don't have expectations. Don't like the cause of suffering is like expecting things to be a certain way. And so the idea of like, let's just see without putting that, because I know for me, like, and I have not had Sarah's experience. I've run a 50K. I've done a couple of around 30-mile excursions that weren't races. They were just excursions. Also the same experience where my 50K race was just like perfect. And the following two excursions were just absolute fucking dumpster fires.
Yeah. It's so funny because not to like jump too far ahead, but I mean, we don't have all day to talk, so I can jump. My eventual goal, when I was able to do hundreds again, and I realized like, okay, I can do this, was I always wanted to do Western states. Like when I started getting into running and even before my knee injury, it's like, that would be so cool to do. Like that would be just cool. Right.
Yeah.
And then I thought I never could. And then I got back into it. And then it's like the whole qualifying game. So for those that don't know, it's a lottery to get into it. And every year you have to do a qualifying race. It's a list of races. It's not just any race.
And it's not a marathon either. You have to do a qualifying 100. A handful of 50 milers, maybe?
No 50 miles anymore. They eliminated that. So it
used to be a handful.
Yes. Okay. My first qualifying year was a 50. Then they got rid of that. Right. So it's a handful of 100Ks. They have to be a specific difficulty. Can't just be, a park 100K, which I still will say any 100K or 100 is hard in its own right. Like the ones that run around the tracks are still hard in their own way.
Hard. It's
I'm
just
not a snob.
Ones are even harder.
Yes. Yes.
It's not. It doesn't go easy to hard. It goes hard to harder.
Harder. Exactly. Or some 100-milers. And then now like Cocodona, there's a couple of the 200s that are in there. But anyways, you have to do that every year to then get into the lottery. And I played the lottery game for a decade. I had to restart at one point, but like from my first qualifier to my name getting picked, it took 10 years. Yeah. So when I got my name pulled, between crying and screaming and lots of oh my god, oh my god, oh my gods, I was cooking pickles in the air fryer vivid crystal memory of how this happened. Immediately people were like, oh my god,
why is a runner. Why would you not be cooking pickles?
Frying pickles in my air fryer for my husband, and I'm watching the live stream, and I walked away from the live stream for like 1 second to flip the pickles, but I had it on my phone and I refreshed, and my name was the next name that popped up. Number 9, it got pulled number 97. And I was like, oh my God. And then all of a sudden people are like ping, 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 like, as people do when they hear and they know that your entire identity is getting into this race. So they were so excited, which is wonderful to have people so happy for you because they know how much this means to you. Instantly though, it was like, okay, so what's your goal? And I'm like, finish. Like I articulated clearly my goal was to be a golden hour finisher, which is in the 29 to 30 hour range. I knew it took me a decade to get into this race. And I knew this knee.
You're like, I'm not hitting a personal best here, y'all. I'm just getting aggressive
Well,
finish line.
just the arthritis I have in that knee from my original injury. Like, it's not the race that gets me, it's the training. I have to be very balanced. And I knew I didn't have another 10 years of qualifier after qualifier. Like, would I try? Sure, until I can't anymore. But I just knew, like, this is it. This is my one shot, and it's getting harder and harder to get in. And so I learned from my first 100, which I think we can learn in just life in general, like you pointed out with the Buddhist, of like, expectation is the cause of so much suffering. And I just took that away. Like, my expectation was to have a good time. My joke was, I'm here for a good time and a long time. I'm going to be out there a long time, and it's
Right.
going to be
It's
fucking
gonna be great the
amazing.
whole time.
And it was. It
I'm
was.
so glad. I'm so glad you
It
had
was.
that. It's like
Oh,
your goal, your like heart race, just like we have a heart dog or a soul dog or a
yep.
soul animal, like that was your soul race, and you got to
Yep.
really experience it in the best way you could.
And I
love
was so present. Thank you. I've never been more present. I could tell you every detail of every mile of everything of that race. Like, there's no like, because I don't know about you, but a lot of these races, like, you kind of have these moments where you're like, I don't remember. It's like a dark
Yep.
void.
Yep.
Like, a lot of
You're
races,
right.
it's mile
Yep.
65
Yes.
to 80. You're like, I don't know what happened in the middle of the night.
Yep. Your brain, or even on training runs, like
Yeah.
especially if it was a training run on a trail, I'd know like really well. Like, yeah, your brain. It's kind of like when you drive to work, and sometimes you don't remember how you got there because you're so used to. Like, yeah,
100%.
it's like you come back awake. You're like, did I get on another trail? Am I still on the
Which
same trail?
part of what I love about some of my training runs, though, because that's when my brain goes to
Yeah.
really fun places with creativity. Like, it's almost, I don't do any drugs. I'm not I mean, everybody, you do you, right? You're an adult, whatever. I don't. So, like, to me, getting into that flow state is like the closest I imagine of being like in a trance of like, you kind of come back to earth and you're like, oh, wow, like, it's a cool trip. Either that or they put some really good stuff out in the water out here. But yeah, it was just like the most magical experience. And I remember, like, though, immediately when it was over, it was this feeling of like, I need to do that again. It was like an addict. Like, I put that back in my veins. I need that again. And I was like, how can I qualify again? How can I do that race again? And then one of my good friends who's done it a handful of times, well, not a handful of times, she's won it one year too. She's like, leave it where it is. She's like, you'll never have that experience again.
Right.
She's like, I wish I had left my good year. I wish I had left it there, because every year, like, after that,
Now
just
you're trying
ruined
to get
it.
back to it and redeem it, and you're having these terrible experiences.
And it's never the same. And you don't need to
And now you
recreate.
kind not ruined it, but now it's like not the
Sullied
same.
it. It's tarnished it. And I don't need to do that. And also, I had my experience. Let somebody else have that 10. I did it. I completed it. I got my buckle. It was amazing. I have the photos. I have the memories. It was great. And so now I just go back every year and either crew or pay. Well, I don't pace. I crew or I,
So
help. And it's like almost as good as, if not better, because experiencing it in a totally different way, and like the magic of it on the other side, it's awesome. So,
which leads me to so you got your master's in whatever it was, or
exercise science. Yeah. Mhm.
So you started spin class teaching, then strength teaching, and then how did that become running and strength, and like kind of talk about that?
Yeah. So it was 2013 I started run coaching. So I'd already been doing strength coaching since 2005. Started personal training. And also the impetus this is my brother died in 2005, and my husband was deployed, and I was living alone in England, and I needed something to get out of, and I couldn't run because I'd already had my injury, and that was my way of processing grief. And processing just things in general was running, and I couldn't do it. And so Brian was deployed, and I was alone in a foreign country by myself. And so I was like, I enjoy spin classes. I'm going to take a spin certification weekend. I'm going to just do something for me. And I met these incredible ladies, and then they got me into the gym, and that's how that all unfolded, right? So I'd been doing that since 2005. So I'd already been, for 8 years at that point, been working in a gym setting, working with athletes, training people. And I just had started running again. And I realized like how impactful my strength training was to helping my durability as a runner.
Okay.
And I was like, I want to marry these two things.
Okay.
Like, I've already been doing the strength for so long. I love running. I'm back at it. I want to help other people find this. And so then I got my RRCA certification initially for run coaching, and I started doing that. And I freelanced as a run coach from 2013 to 2019. And then in 2019, I started working with CTS, which is the organization that I coach with now.
And do you did your relationship with strength, like, because maybe this is a dumb question. You've
No.
been my coach, and I'm still asking this question.
It's okay.
Like, okay, you're in the gym. Somebody's just at the 24-hour fitness or whatever, and they want a personal trainer because they just want to get healthier. They just want to move more. That strength routine, is that pretty different than I need this for my running? Or are they kind of the same?
It depends, and that's everybody's favorite answer because I work in movement patterns in certain exercises. So a squat, a hinge, a lunge, a push, a press, right? Everybody can benefit from those. But this is where it gets creative because how I like to apply that not only to a runner or their particular, like, are they a mountain runner? Are they a road runner? Where has their injury history been? What is their experience? Where are they in balance? Are they post injury and post PT? Are they transitioning? So certain exercises might be more appropriate for them than others.
Right.
I like to think of it like this is really oversimplifying, but generally people go to train for, we'll say one of three reasons. And again, I'm oversimplifying, but it's usually performance or aesthetics, or when I say entertainment, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, they want to go and they want to work out and they want to go to a like a HIIT class
Yeah.
or a class where someone else tells
It's a little bit fun, more
it's
fun than just like
fun.
walking around the neighborhood. There's
Yeah.
a community element. There's
Yes.
like a music element.
Every workout's different.
Yeah.
It's entertaining. It's like they used to say, I'm tricking the body. I'm keeping it fresh. Okay. Generally speaking, until you get to a certain level of elite athlete, and then it starts to, but we're talking most of us, you can accomplish two of the three at any given time in general. So you can be training for aesthetics and have it be somewhat entertaining. You could be training for performance and get some aesthetic benefits, right? But there becomes a point where it's very hard to do all three and have it be effective. Even doing two of the three, something's going to suffer.
Right.
So,
because for performance, and I'll just say, like, sometimes you don't want to do an 18-miler. You're not getting entertainment out of that. And that's the whole 18 miles. There's a whole lot of time, and it's 96 degrees. And there's a whole lot of time where you're just trudging through the dirt with your head down.
Yeah. And when it comes to strength training, like, and if we talk about that aspect of it, like my best friend started with the trainer and she was like, I want my workouts every single time to be different. I want every single workout to be different. I want to be entertained. I feel like she's being lazy if I repeat things. And I was like, but when it comes to like performance and when it comes to like maybe a certain aesthetic goal, you need that repetition. You have to continue to do the same exercises. Now you're going to go up in weight. Your reps and sets are going to change, but you need to do the same thing over and over and over again to get very, very good at it. So you can load more weight or do it faster or do it, and that's how you get the stimulus for the adaptation you want. If you're constantly changing it, for instance, from a performance perspective, that's not going to work very well for you.
Yeah.
You following that?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I get athletes, I'll get people, we have to be very clear of like, what is your goal for training? So kind of back to your like, what is it like? How do I decide what I'm doing for people? Some people are like, I just want to have some fun. I don't care about my performance. I don't care about my aesthetics. I'm strength curious. I've never done it. I just let me play. Great. Who am I to, because you're going to get some benefit. And that's something I talk about with our coaches a lot. If you get somebody that's untrained, never worked with a personal trainer, never worked with a coach, as long as you don't hurt them, you will 9 times out of 10 get them results. And you're going to feel like an amazing trainer and coach, which gets a lot of people in trouble because they think I'm brilliant. I'm amazing because I get all these people results until you start getting people that have more experience and they need the fine tuning and they need the,
and you don't know how to adjust because you have not had to like really adjust and fine tune for somebody for a performance reason.
Exactly. And that's where it's like people find like, oh, I'm not so good at this. Or that's where you need to level up, like as a coach. Like,
and does that take additional, like, is that mentoring with a older coach? Is it additional certifications or I know when I was yoga certified, to maintain the certification, you had to do like, what is it called? Ongoing.
CEUs, continuing education.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of everything really, because some people benefit best by finding a mentor. Some people do really well with like watching courses and attending doing CEUs. A lot of it is experience in front of a lot of different people. Like I worked at a military base, but I worked with civilians and military people. My first decade of coaching was I predominantly worked with people that were fat loss, the aesthetic they wanted, or fat loss because they either needed to get thinner for their PT test or like they had to do like PT test specific stuff.
Yeah.
But very rarely was I somebody that was like truly performance. It was, I need to lose 10 pounds because I'm going to my high school reunion. And looking back, it was a lot of perimenopausal women that I was training. You know, I was in my mid-20s and I'm training women in their 40s and they're like about the belly. You know, they don't like their little meno belly and all these things. And of course, as a 20-year-old, I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I didn't know at the
You
time,
didn't
which
know
I'm like,
what was coming.
I am so sorry, ladies. But so a lot of that is just experience. And that's how you learn because you get in front of people and you're like, oh, and then you learn what you're good at. You learn what you want to be good at. And then you start
Okay.
going down more towards that of like,
You
I
have to
knew.
You
Yeah.
have to feel the gap first to realize you need the
Yes.
CCUs or whatever, but you're not gonna see that before you take the next step. You're gonna come to a point where there's a gap in your knowledge.
Yes,
And then
or you get a very clear idea of who you want to work with. So
Okay.
I very early on, well, I guess it took me a decade, but clear at that point is when I started to go like, oh, I really want to work with runners from a performance and durability aspect, not I only want to work with the best runners, which I am very fortunate now to strength train for some very elite athletes, which is wonderful. But at the time I just want to focus on endurance athletes and helping them get stronger. It wasn't that I wanted to work with somebody I never wanted to work with somebody that wanted to do like a figure or bodybuilding show or, that type of aesthetics. That just wasn't for me. That's for somebody else. That's where they put their whole career, their time, their effort, their passion into. And I would not expect them to do well necessarily training a ultra runner for what they need.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
Could you?
Absolutely.
If you have the degrees and the certifications
I
and the
feel like
knowledge,
you'd be so open-minded. You'd have to do so much research. I feel like that is two entirely different.
It is. And it's like, I'll get people now that'll come to me, they're like, hey, can you train me for my triathlon? I'm like, can I? Yes, theoretically, I can. I can. I have the knowledge. I have the am I your best fit? No. You need to work with someone else. Not because I don't like you, but because I care about you getting success and working with the person that's going to be the best fit for you with what you want. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And also it's not really my passion. I want to work with the people I want to work. It's like you could probably
see somebody throw up at 3 a.m. and pop blisters on their feet.
Yes.
And poop in the woods.
Yes.
That's what she wants to do with her life.
I guarantee you probably have multiple mediums of art that you can do. But you probably have ones that you prefer more than others.
Absolutely. That is a phenomenal analogy. Absolutely. Yeah. Some people want to be watercolorists. Some people want to be ceramicists.
My dad's a ceramicist. He's a potter. Yep. Now, does he dabble with sculpture? Well, I guess that's the same thing. He throws on the wheel. He does some freehand sculpture and whatnot. Could he paint and draw? Yes, he does. But he's really good on the wheel. And that's where he loves. Good, which is a good thing because it's also where he makes some of his additional retirement money. So that worked out really well.
I own a Sarah Scozzaro's dad.
An Art Brooks original. Yeah. So that's kind of how I look at it of like, and I think that can be applied to us in general in life. Like we all have like gifts, we have passions, we can do like that. You hear, oh God, it kind of drove me crazy. So I hope I don't offend anybody. But for a while it was like, I'm a multi-passionate mama. Like and that's great. But just because you're passionate about many things, like it's okay to also pick the things that you really, really, really love and niche down and really focus on those. You don't have to be able to do it all. I think that's another thing.
Time. Are you sleeping? Because I only have so much time to listen. I have I keep meaning to make jewelry beads. It's not going to happen. Okay.
Yeah. And exactly. And it doesn't mean that you never will. And it doesn't mean that you can't. But I think in general, women of our age, there's a cat coming. Maybe? No. Okay. Women of our age feel like we have to do it all. We have to be lovers. We have to be mothers. We have to be professionals. We have to do this. We have to cook. We have to clean.
And also our butt still better be in shape.
Yeah. And so I feel like in life, give yourself permission to like pick the things you really want to focus your energy because we have a limited amount of energy and time. So, don't be afraid to ration that shit out for the stuff that you're really passionate about.
And the kitty agrees.
And don't be afraid to also pivot. Like that's my biggest thing too, of like, if something's not lighting you up anymore, you can walk away.
And so kind of one of the questions I wanted to ask you was how movement how you view movement has changed from when you start, well, let's say in your 20s, because you
Mhm.
started at 5. That's a big gap. But so, like, the 15s and the teens and 20s, when you started like running marathons, how you view movement then and how you view movement now. And is there some of that philosophy there? Is that one of the things, is like, to your point, like, I had to kind of niche down and focus.
Thankfully, the Lord only blessed me with the ability to run and not to like, I don't do really good with high hand eye coordination or ball sports. So there was never this, I'm good at everything. I guess I'll have to pick running. No, I was pretty awful at other, like,
Okay.
you didn't want me on your T-ball team. My parents, bless their hearts, let me try anything, gymnastics, soccer, T-ball, softball, horseback riding, like all the things. And it's just like, oh, she's just a runner. And I loved it because I felt free. And I was a little kid that we lived in the mountains and I just could run around and pretend like I was cowboys and Indians and
Yeah.
whatever,
That's what it is. That's why people wanna go on these long trail
yeah,
runs. They
it's
get to be feral. You get to be a feral
you
thing.
do, and I had that as a child. Literally, luckily, we're of the generation, like, our parents would open the door, we'd leave at, like, 7, 8 in the
I
morning,
come back
me
when the lights come on. That was
pretty
my thing.
much. Like, if
That's what my parents told me, "Come back when the lights come on."
I tell my mom now some of the stuff we saw and did as children, not because we were naughty, but like, "Oh, yeah, we were out in this field and we saw this, and oh, yeah, we did this, we went out there." My mom's like, "You did what?" Like, I'm telling her this now as a 46-year-old woman. My mom is like, "Where was I?" I was like, "I don't know. Watching Golden Girls? You were working?" Like, they were
Right.
wonderful parents. My parents were amazing,
Yes, absolutely.
but they
Same,
instilled
same.
in me the ability to go wander, and I didn't
And
have to
it
require
was
progress.
also a generational thing. Gen X is
Oh, we're the
it was just,
best.
yeah, I
We're
mean,
the
we are the
best.
best, but we're
Mhm.
also the most self-sufficient generation. It is,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, so I loved how running I feel like as an adult, I was very lucky that as a child I loved running because it was exploration, it was creativity, it was wildness, it was nature, it was like I'm the kind of girl that like if you are on Instagram long enough, my stories are full of bugs and flowers and trees and
100%.
rocks and
I
I
love it.
just
I love
wander.
every single, I wanna see them all. I am
I
attached to your dear friends.
I love them. I mean, I just love I am the girl that will stop in the middle of my run to take a picture of a really cool leaf or a rock. I went through my performance days of like, I want to qualify for Boston and I want to push, I want to do this. Like one, even with the boundaries of my knee of like seeing what's possible, I did want to see what was possible.
Okay.
I've now but I've now come like 180 back to like when I was a child, or is that 360? No, it's 180. I don't even know. I've come now.
It's 360
It would
because
be, like,
child,
all
you
the
go
way
all the way
around.
back. Yep.
My arc is complete, where I'm back now of, like, I'm just a 46-year-old kid who gets to run through the woods and take pictures of mushrooms and cool animals, and
Now, here's the thing
Mhm,
that I really wanna ask you.
okay.
Do you think, because one of the things that I kinda like, I always ask people is like, what would you tell, like, somebody starting out? Do you think you have to go through the angst and the, "I wanna do this for aesthetic or performance," or something kinda outside yourself to get to the, like, "I'm here to make kiddo me happy"? Or do you think you can kinda learn it without maybe having,
So, there's the answer I wish was true, and then there's the true answer. And
you gotta go through it?
the answer that I wish was true was that I like to try to show people that, "Hey, I've been there, done that, and you don't need to. Like, it's not worth it, and there's a better way." But I feel like with much of life, most things people don't learn unless they experience it, and they don't believe
Mm,
you unless they experience it, and they
mhm,
think they're
mhm.
exempt unless they face it, Like, "Oh, that's you, that's not me, that will never happen to me." It's kind of like grief and loss and anything in life. Like you're an observer watching other people go through things and you think, well, I would handle that differently or that won't happen to me. And then it does. And then you're like, oh, okay. So I try to like, ladies, we don't have to worry about how we look and I would be very disingenuous to say that as I've aging into my perimenopause years and my body has drastically changed in the past, especially the past 2 years. 43, it started 44 to 46 where I'm at now. There's been definite changes. And then
I would say, yeah, like, once I got over the crest of 45, it was noticeable. It's like 45 felt like a crest.
yeah.
Mhm.
And they say that. They say that like 45 and 65 I think are the big like physical change
Okay.
years for decades for women. And I'd be lying if I said that I didn't sometimes go like, wow, this isn't the body that I'm used to, especially like coming off of a surgery I just recently had where I lost a lot of muscle and I look down at my body and I don't even recognize her. Now she's still the same person and she's still capable of all the same things and she still is amazing and really strong, but there is that struggle of like, oh, but like they say though, you don't appreciate, like, I remember being 20 thinking I was fat. And then you look back, you're like, girl, but I would never want to be that 20-year-old again. I wasn't
You were also
strong.
really dehydrated and
Oh, I liked the
you're
wrong
like,
boys.
yes, you were
It
in
was,
love with some idiot.
oh, I was. Oh, I was. And so my mom to this day is like, I am so glad you didn't marry the person you were dating at that age. I'm like, me too. But like, I wouldn't want to be her. I'm thankful for her lessons, but I like who I am now. I like who I've become. I like how I do things. Do I still feel moments of like, wow, I wish I didn't have that crepey skin or that little belly, or wish I didn't have more visible cellulite because I have it than I did. But it's like the alternative. And I know that's super easy to say that because it's like, oh,
No, it's no, and
but
I think anybody who's our age knows that it's not super easy to say, but it's still important to say. Like,
it
you still,
is.
like, because you got to get it into your head too. And it, like, you're saying it for yourself as much as you're saying it for anybody else.
100%. And I also know that when I'm 65, I will look back at 46-year-old Sarah going, God, I wish I appreciated what I looked like back then. I wish I
You want to
appreciated.
say it now so that
Yes.
you can know that you did as much as you could
Yes.
live into the appreciation you did. Even if you didn't always feel it, you still said it.
Yes, because I wish my 20-year-old self had felt that way. So I know, or 25-year-old self. And so I know my 66-year-old self is going to be looking back at my 46-year-old self going, girl, let's talk about that really. So yeah, I think it's very easy to be like, I love myself and and I'm happy. And I do. But there are times, of course, where we're like, oh, this is different. I'm living in a different body. It's like the same body, but it feels different.
It
And
absolutely does.
navigating that. And that's okay too.
And so, for those of us navigating different changes, like, what if somebody, somebody is navigating these changes, they either still like movement, but because of these changes, the relationship has changed, or they're not sure, or they want to get into movement and they're not sure. Like, what you've provided so much insight so far, but I would love any insight in that particular.
Find something that you really, really enjoy. And even if you're like, I'm an introvert. And so I love trail running because I could do it alone, but I love doing events where I can then connect with other people that love what I love. And I think that's really cool to have like that hub that you can go back to of being able to connect with other people that love what you love. And so there's that community there.
Yep.
So and I think that find what you love. If that's a Zumba class, if that's a walking group, if that's a hiking group, I personally would choose to be out in nature. As much as I love my weight room, I love my running and my strength almost equally. My running edges it out a little bit because I can do it out in nature.
Yeah.
But I do love strength training because I love how strong I feel. I love picking up heavy shit and setting it down. I love that feeling. But I really like being out with the birds singing and the chirping and so watching a sunrise. So find something that you really love because you won't do it unless you like it. And I think we've drilled into our heads that movement has to look a certain way or you have to go to a place to do it. And you don't. You can put on a pair of shoes and walk outside.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
And that movement is punishment for eating.
Went through that. Yeah, don't. Move because it's good for you. Move because it connects you with some other thing, whether that's nature or other people or, whatever it is. I'm not a religious person. I'm more of a spiritual person. Like So just being out in nature is like, that's church to me. Like that's beauty. And so don't think of it as like, well, I ate this. Oh, go ahead.
I've never met God in a building.
Exactly. He's on a trail. She's on a trail. They're on a trail. I don't ever I try to balance. I think of more of like, how can I move my body today that my tomorrow self will thank me for, and my tomorrow self.
Oh, everybody, that's right up there with Flippin' Pickles.
Flippin' Pickles. It's a band name. That's the new band name, Flippin' Pickles. But yeah, so I know that my tomorrow self, whether that's literally tomorrow or if that's my decade from now, Sarah, strength training is going to help me. Strong bones. It's going to help me as I get older. A strong heart is going to help me as I get older. Being outside in a happy place is good for my mental health. So find something that you love. Do it as often as you can within the balance of your life, but don't put so much. Don't do it. Don't let the not doing it become another reason that you disappointed in yourself or that you're putting pressure on yourself. So don't set up these expectations. And then if you fall short, it's another reason that you can punish yourself. Don't do that. We have enough things in life that we need to do. So if you try to make it something that just integrates into your life, also don't have an all or nothing approach. I have athletes that are like, I can't do this mobility all at once. Great. Whirl your foot on a ball while you brush your teeth or do some squats at this. Is it the same as like doing a big muscle growth workout? No, but it's movement. Is your heart pumping? Especially if you're just starting off. Start with 10 minutes. Do something throughout the day.
Thank you. I think it needed to be said. It was so important for you to say it. And so thank you for sharing that and for
You're
being
welcome.
so gracious with your wisdom. And so we've got one final question. It's my favorite question. It's the exact opposite of what you just said. And it is like, what has been the piece of garbage advice that has stuck out to you?
Ooh, the piece of garbage advice, like the
I mean,
stupidest, like,
again, it could be that guy saying that, you know what, you can't run because you're.
yeah, take the cat. For me, I always rescue the cat. I don't know. I think it sounds really cliche. It's not garbage advice, but like I think it's more of cliched advice.
Okay.
Say yes to yourself more often. And sometimes saying yes to yourself is saying no to something else. But like just be willing to say yes to things cuz yeah. And also it's okay to have chocolate every day. Every day.
Anybody who tells you you can't have chocolate.
I don't want to be your friend. I don't need that negativity. Have chocolate every day. Good chocolate. Like to
Mm-hmm.
you, good chocolate. Because sometimes
Mm-hmm.
that's Nestle. It's just,
I mean,
it is what
listen,
it
my
is.
new obsession is peanut butter Snickers.
Oh,
Okay.
see, I'm a Reese's peanut butter girl. So yeah, peanut butter Snickers also feel that. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
Sarah,
you.
for your time. Guys, this was, I literally feel like I'm handing people a gift with this episode. Can you remind everybody just one more time where they can find you if they would like to be able to bask in that much more wisdom on
Pictures
the
of
internet?
cats and pictures of frogs and toads. Because I also
Yes.
want to start a only toads account instead of OnlyFans. Because you know me, when it's toad season, I'm pictures of cats and or toads, and it's only toads. I use that hashtag, by the way. Sarah.Scozzaro is where
Okay.
you will
Thank
find me
you.
on the grams.
All right. Thank you, guys. I hope everyone has a great day. Sarah, you certainly made my day better. Everybody, bye and see you next time.